Soundstripe.
Fan Spectrum, I see you. Let's go.
We're back at the ballpark, guys. Where is he at?
This is the only union that we're gonna bust. I'm a union baby.
Come on.
You're not serious.
Come on.
You're not serious.
I gotta stick with MJ.
Okay. Hey, you don't have to say it because I'm here now.
Okay, my boy Paul right here.
Hey, that
Figure it out.
Fan Spectrum, right here, right here.
We're gonna go to football. Talk Monday Night Football American football, good old America football between the Indianapolis.
To be an American.
Red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Indianapolis Colts against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a game where I don't think anybody really cares who wins. I think it's a great game because it could go either way. And I think that we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Yeah, man. Let's see. Really not much other than the Colts kind of almost beat the Eagles, which is pretty impressive, and they've also beaten the Chiefs. So they've beaten two, Super Bowl contending teams, which is pretty
Saturday's
cool.
Turning it around there.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday. We actually didn't mention we could talk about Jeff Saturday. We haven't even gone into that yet. But and then on the other side, Steelers are kind of figuring out with Kenny Pickett. I mean, he's still growing, it's still his rookie year, so we're not expecting too much out of him. But you can kind of see he's getting a little comfortable. He didn't throw any interceptions last game. I mean, granted, they only lost by 7 to the Bengals, but I mean, he's looking kind of decent. I'm not going to say he might be the guy, but he kind of feels like he's getting into that mold to be the guy for Pittsburgh. So we can get into that as well. But let's talk about who we think's going to win in this game. Let's start off with you, Manny.
I think that Pittsburgh is going to take this game. I got Pittsburgh beating the Indianapolis Colts 17-14. I think that Pickett has kind of really stepped up as their number one QB, and then I can't remember the name of the kid who's really kind of taking off right now as their number one in the wide receiver position.
George Pickens or Deontay Johnson?
George Pickens?
I think it's Pickens, yeah. So Pickett and Pickens, they picking it up is what they doing. They picking up the slack over there in Pittsburgh. So
It's a Monday night game? Wow.
Yeah, it is a Monday night. all the good games are Thursday and Sunday. So
I know. This is gonna be a defensive game. Starting with the Steelers, Manny hit a lot of points. Kenny Pickett looked like he's being comfortable, and it really helps when you have a George Pickens that shows elite receiving ability, like number one receiving ability, to help that offense. But I think there's still growing pains there, and for the Colts, it looks like they have some juice since Saturday got on the team, man. They've been playing a lot better, but they still haven't been playing elite like on offense. Their defense has been pretty good. Looks like Taylor's starting to get in the groove, and Matty Ice is just starting to get into getting comfortable back there throwing the ball. I think being that the Colts are at home, I think they're gonna take this one in a low-scoring game, like I'm gonna say 17-14, last-minute field goal for the Colts. But it's gonna be a really close defensive struggling game.
Okay, I think it's gonna be quite opposite. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game. I think be a lot of running. I think Najee Harris is playing, I believe. Jonathan Taylor's kind of. I think because Jeff Saturday's there, Jonathan Taylor's been running more because Saturday knows his line schemes per se, and I think Matt Ryan just has to focus on his receivers at that point. And I feel like it's a good balance between both of them trying to figure that out. And so because they're gonna run, they're gonna make it a little easier on Matt Ryan. So I definitely think it's gonna be a high paced game. I'm gonna say I don't know who's gonna win though. That's my other thing. I think the Steelers are gonna win. just because it's Mike Tomlin against Jeff Saturday.
Mhm.
I think when it comes down to the wire, I mean, granted, Jeff Saturday did play the Eagles and lost by 1, but I think Mike Tomlin is just gonna, he's still trying to go for him not having a losing record. And this is he? Yeah, I think he's still trying to go for him not having a losing record ever in his career. And this is one of those games where you'd like to definitely have for sure because their record is, I mean, they're in last, but the record is. What's the record? 3-7. So I mean, they could still try to get 8-8 or 9. I don't know the math, but you still try to get 9-8, I guess. So I think Mike Tomlin's that's the only thing he really has going for him. So yeah, why not? Steelers 28-24. What about you, B?
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh. I think I don't know, man. Now we're talking about Tomlin. I don't know if this is like. You think they move on from him at this point? Like, right? Like,
No, I don't.
do they make the move? Do they keep him?
I don't
Like,
think so.
they write it out till like they think Pickett doesn't work, and then they're just like, all right, then we move on. Like, I mean, he's there. He's a legendary coach. I just always thought about like, when do they make that move? Especially now that they've reinvested into a new QB, because at the point it was about Big Ben, right? Now that Big Ben's gone, you got Pickett. If Pickett doesn't pan out, is that when you go, okay? Maybe it's not Pickett, maybe it's Tomlin, or maybe it was never Ben, maybe it's Tomlin's off. You know what I'm saying? So besides the point, I think I would just like to see Pickett take that next step. He's still young. I think this is a good team to do it against. They're missing some of their key players on defense. So this is the best time to do it. And I think he just has a better game. I think offensively, this is gonna be fun to see from two running backs that need to have bigger games than Najee and Taylor. And it'd be nice to see both of them have big games offensively.
Yeah.
But with that being said, though, I think Pittsburgh just does have the defensive edge a little bit on that end. So
They do
with
have
that being said,
they do have a good defense,
yeah,
linebackers,
yeah. So with that being said, I think that's why I think that makes the difference for Pittsburgh to win it all. So I say Pittsburgh win. I think it's like 28-21, 24, 28-24, but with Pittsburgh on top.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's talk about Jeff Saturday, man, because I know that was kind of we didn't really talk about that much when it emerged, but now that he's got he's got 2 games under his belt. How did you guys feel about them getting rid of Frank Reich and just kind of going to Jeff Saturday all of a sudden? I mean, I know people were kind of shocked by the firing of him, and then going right to a guy that has no experience in the NFL as a coach. Or coaching in general. I think he only coached high school, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I get that he has that Colts culture, but I mean, is that the right move to really do? I mean, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think what with the whole fire, I think firing Reich was a jump of the gun. I think they should have ridden it out the year maybe and then moved on from him. But with that being said, I get it. I get it because he just doesn't know what he wants at QB. Like it's been QB in, QB out, and it's like, bro, you need to you need to change your offensive scheme now to these QBs because it's not working what you want. Yeah. So you have a guy, because I mean Matt Ryan's he's past his prime for sure, yes, but like, is he worth the benching? I don't think he's worth the benching in the first place. I think you ride out the year and then whatever it is, you part ways. And I think that was the problem. I just think Frank Reich wasn't open to the idea of like, hey, let me change my offensive scheme, and let's focus on how the quarterback plays. He's had every quarterback you could think of in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
I've gone to the playoffs at least, yeah. Like
yeah, so like, and they're not bad QBs. He hasn't had bad QBs. So except for like Carson Wentz was the 50-50, right? But like, with that being said, though, like, it's tough, man. Tough for Indy in the position that they're in, but to fire him the way they did, I mean, fine, you fire him, whatever. But like, then right away be like, Jeff Saturday's our coach, like just off rip. And there's nothing against Saturday. Saturday bleeds blue. He's a cult, day in, day out. That's he represents what a cult needs, what a cult is, and winning a Super Bowl will pay. And I think the Colts had the right idea, bringing in somebody that's understands the organization, what they want, from an overall perspective, whether it's the draft, what they're trying to build. You know, they brought somebody that understands. But I think I would, if it were me, I would have waited till end of the year, because nothing's gonna. I don't think anything's gonna change where you bring this guy in midway and it's like, oh, okay, they're great now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's
or
a big
playoff spot.
it's a big slap in the face too to Frank Reich, because it's like, you know, they were actually on the brink of going to playoffs last year, and it's like,
And it was the difference was the QB. It was hoping that, you know, so
yeah, it's like, I mean, I get what you're saying though. He never really had a plan or a scheme at the end of the day, so I can see that. I just think the disrespect, you know, not even
yeah, just to
as
cut him.
yeah, I mean, the whole world saw it, and it's like, you know, and then you just bring Jeff Saturday out of the blue, and it's kind of like, man, that's a little messed up. So, I mean, in Saturday's defense, he is getting these games close, but I mean, at the end of the day, was that the right move?